Sanskrit class. This is the Samskrita Bharati Sanskrit classes.
Wow. Okay. Congratulations.
Dhanyavad, Dr. Renu, but I just wrote yesterday.
That itself is congrats.
Hari Om.
Okay. Hari Om, Nana.
Hari Om,
Hari Om,
Nana.
Nanaji.
Sorry, I'm a bit late.
Yeah. Is it okay?
No, Nana, you
Yeah,
are
okay.
not
Hari Om.
never late.
Hari Om, everybody.
You can start, Nana.
Okay.
I'll just mute everyone and then you can start.
Okay.
You can get going. You can unmute and start. You will have, yeah.
Okay. Om. 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 Brahmanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gaganasadrusham Tattvamasyadilaksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshibhutam Bhavaditam Tribunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavad Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Sadashiva Samarambham Acharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Vande Guru Paramparam Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Chaiva Tato Jayamudirayet. You can start off, Brahmara. You have to start on 61st verse.
Okay.
Go to 62, then 65 and 66.
61 first, no?
Yeah, 61 first.
60. Om Shri Krishna Paramatmane Namaha Harihi Om Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam Hriddeshe Junatishthati Brahmayan Sarva Bhutani Yantrarudhani Mayaya. The Lord remains at the seat of the intellect of all beings, Arjuna, causing all beings to move, revolve by the magic of his Maya, like those figures which are mounted on a machine are made to revolve. Meaning of the word Arjuna. Shankara has chosen this occasion to give the meaning of the name Arjuna as the one whose disposition is pure. He has a clean mind. This meaning of the word Arjuna as something that is clear or bright is also seen in the Rig Veda, where the day is described initially as Krishna, meaning dark, overcast and cloudy. Immediately the day is said to be Arjuna, meaning Atisvacha, very clear, not cloudy. Thus, Arjuna is the one who has a clean mind like the cloudless day. That does not mean he does not get angry, but there is no deceit. Because he has a clean mind, he has compassion, as we have seen, but at the same time, he has other obstructions like legitimate anger. All the Pandavas have that kind of mind. Even Bhima has that kind of mind. But if you taunt him, he is going to pulverize you. So he is not going to be a sadhu. They were all people of great self-respect. If you say something which will in any way belittle them, you will have to answer for that. This is not the mind of a sadhu, but of a simple, natured human being. Lord, seated in the intellect, causes all beings to function through Maya. Ishvara is the one in whose presence the mind, senses, etc. function as they do, and the whole universe is as it is. That Ishvara is said to reside at the seat of the intellect, Hriddeshe, because that is where consciousness is manifest, where you experience the whole world, where you recognize the presence of Atma. There alone, you recognize I am. And this is true for all beings. Sarva Bhutana. Residing there, Ishvara is causing all beings to move. Brahmayan Sarva Bhutani. Because of his presence alone, without any involvement at all on his part, the mind is mind, the intellect is intellect, the eyes are eyes, and the ears are ears. By his simple presence, he makes the mind move, make the senses move, and make the whole world move. Everything is moving because of the Atma that is behind, without which there is no being for anything. Giving its existence and also its consciousness to the mind, senses, etc., it remains hidden. Making all these beings move in their own directions, express themselves in their respective fields, Ishvara remains in the intellect. Hriddeshe tishtati. The eyes see, ears hear, the mind desires, and enjoys will, action is done, all due to the presence of Atma. A very interesting example is given here. The beings are made to move by Ishvara, like the figures mounted on a machine are made to move, revolve as if by magic. Brahmayan yantra rudhani mayaya iva. The root Brahm means both to move and to revolve. Shankara notes that the word iva, which means like, is to be supplied here. A yantra is a machine, any contrivance that does a task for you. But here, it means a particular device on which are mounted varieties of dolls, putrikas, like a merry-go-round. We only see the turning, not the person who does the turning. When these varieties of wooden forms of men, women, animals, etc. are made to revolve by someone who is hidden behind the whole thing, they appear to be moving as though by magic, Mayaya. Just as the person who runs the show stands there without being seen, Ishvara remains in the intellect, Hriddeshe tishtati, of all beings, Sarva Bhutanam, making them move, Brahmayan. Ishvara can be understood here as Paramatma, the one who is identified with the law of karma, Hiranyagarbha. If the law of karma is understood, that very law is Ishvara residing in everybody's heart as the prarabdha karma. Accordingly, each person is going to function in keeping with his disposition. How are you going to change that unless you deliberately initiate the process of change? But here he is likening Ishvara to prarabdha karma, right?
In the sense, he is the karmadhyaksha.
Yeah.
And he is the one who has ordained all the laws.
Mm.
From that point of view, even your prarabdha karma, you have acquired based on this certain set of laws, of which he is the president. From that point of view, it is okay.
Yeah. Because otherwise, the meaning is prarabdha karma for every person is different.
Yes, yes.
Which brings about a concept as though Ishvara is different, but it's not. Ishvara is
True.
the same. Correct?
But unlike the man-made laws, they
Ah,
conform to a certain pattern,
correct.
and that pattern happens to be true in respect of everybody.
Mm,
The
correct.
final patterns may change, but it is according to a particular set of rules,
Right. Got it.
unviolable rules.
Mm.
Hari Om Nanaji, could you please
Hari Om.
just give little more about Hiranyagarbha, Nanaji, please?
About the Hiranyagarbha.
Yes, Nanaji.
Hiranyagarbha is the total mind. See, you have a mind, I have a mind. The sum total of all these minds is called the Hiranyagarbha. That is the creator Brahmaji. That is the total mind. If you are able to think very nicely, I am able to think very little, and what to think and what I am capable of thinking, etc. And that kind of a thing totally over the entire mankind, over the entire Jiva Rashi, not only mankind. If it is integrated totally, that is the Hiranyagarbha.
Okay, Dhanyavad, Nanaji.
Dhanyavad.
Is also,
Nanaji,
yeah.
sorry. Well, no, would that include the whole Sukshma Sharira or only the mind?
Mind is part of the Sukshma Sharira, sir.
Yeah, it is a part. No, I'm saying, does it include the ahankara, everything, when we say mind, is it the whole mind, intellect, memory, ego?
You take
everything?
it essentially as the total mind. Ahankara is also there.
Okay.
It is the total mind.
Means it is
Dhanyavad.
complete body
Yes,
mind complex.
Yeah, correct. It is not the Sthola Sharira at all.
Hmm.
That Sthola
Only
Sharira
Sukshma.
is different. That is a Virat Swarupa, Virat.
Yes, this is where we learned somewhere before in the previous shlokas, where the sum total of all the Sthula Shariras is Virat. Can we call that a sum total of all Sthula Shariras, or the one who's and the sum total of all the Sukshma Shariras is Hiranyagarbha?
You look at it this way, Brahmara. This entire Jagat has come about through Maya, of which Brahma has got control. He has got control. Okay? He is Maya Atitaha. And Maya is Brahma Adhinaha. And from Brahma Adhinaha Maya, entire Jagat has come. And in the entire Jagat, that he is, the Brahma is. The entire Jagat, in the entire Jagat, he is. That is the Virat Swarupa. If you can realize that, there is the Virat Swarupa. In the entire Jagat, all the Sthola Shariras are included. But it is not limited to just the Sthola Shariras only. You see?
It includes Tavaram Jangamam, all.
Exactly.
Immovable, everything that you
Exactly.
see physically.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Read.
Even mentally,
Hello?
even mentally also.
Yes.
May we say all that which is
No.
measurable?
Suresh ji, mentally will be equivalent to that Hiranyagarbha.
Hiranyagarbha.
Virat is different from Hiranyagarbha.
Oh.
Virat,
Is
Okay.
everything
Yeah.
measurable, Nanaji?
Virat is different from Hiranyagarbha.
So,
Okay.
okay.
Right.
Thank you. Jai
Thank
Guru.
Yeah.
Vela had something to say.
That
Vela,
Virat Swarupa is kind of evident through the Purusha Sukta. You recollect the Purusha Sukta mantras? Bahurajanya Krutaha. Mukhadindrascha, Agnischa, that kind of a thing. That is the Virat Swarupa. Whereas Hiranyagarbha is the total mind. Like Menanji said, whether it includes Ahankara, yes. But essentially, it is earmarked to indicate the integrated whole of all the minds.
We tell in the big mind, we tell like that. Okay.
Huh?
We especially express it as a big mind.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Integrated
Nanaji,
mind.
sorry, Hariom Nanaji. Hello. Since it is, can we say when we say physical attributes, it is all everything which is measurable, countable. It is Virat Swarupa.
Virat Swarupa, it is the, see, you are a microcosm. You and I are microcosms. Virat Swarupa is a macrocosm. The sum total of all microcosms put together is Virat. Okay. Now, by knowing these minor things, what is it we want to gain? Understand that. By knowing Virat and by knowing Hiranyagarbha, have we known Atma? Have we distanced ourselves from Atma, or are we becoming proximal to Atma? That is the question to be answered.
Wow,
Then these
that-
minor questions will drop off.
True.
Okay? That
Got
is
it.
what Bhagavan said, that vyavasayatmika buddhihi samadhau na vidhiyate. That vyavasayatmika buddhihi, the one single pointed attention based on which the intellect decides on a particular thing which is for tavahita, for your benefit. That is required. Vyavasayatmika buddhihi. Yeah, go ahead, Brahma.
So how are you going to change that unless you deliberately initiate the process of change? I'll just read that. If the law of karma is understood, that very law is Ishvara, residing in everybody's heart as the prarabdha karma.
Yeah.
Accordingly, each person is going to function in keeping with his disposition.
Yes.
How are you going to change that unless you deliberately initiate the process of change?
Yeah, you can. You can deliberately initiate a process of change, but that will have an incubation period. Simply because you have decided to change, it does not immediately change, because the pratibandhakas will be there. The viparita bhavana with which you are endowed, that comes in the way. And other pratibandhakas, obstacles, not known to you, that is the adrushta phalam of your purva karma. Adrushta phalam of the purva karma, that also comes in the way. So your purushartha, that is driving your mumukshutvam. Your purushartha is driving your mumukshutvam, and that will really fructify, but it will have a little time. That is why in the earlier PDF document you read, jnana nishtha is required. It's not enough if you have jnana, that jnana nishtha is required. In the 5th chapter, it is very clearly mentioned, tad buddhayaha, tad atmanaha, tan nishtaha, that is important. Tan nishtaha, tat parayanaha. There is nothing greater than that for them. That is the jnana nishtha. With your purushartha nishchaya, which is driving your mumukshutvam, you can certainly make amends to whatever is your disposition, but it takes time. You must give it a try and keep on watching. If as you watch, it is not as effective as you thought it to be, you will have to strengthen your Purushartha further. Okay?
Yeah.
Shanai, Shanai.
Shanai, very right. Shanai, Sharai, Uparamet. It's not easy to get rid of whatever we are attached to. It's not easy. Shanai, very good vakyam. Shanai, Uparamet. Buddhya, you use your intellect. Dhruti Gruhitaya, with a resolution, which is unwavering. Resolution, Dhrutya, Buddhya, Dhruti Gruhitaya, Atma Samstam Manakrutva, Nakinchidapi Chintayet. All these things are driven by Purushartha. Nakinchidapi Chintayet, you should not think of anything other than Atma. Anything other than what is related to Atma, you shall not think of. Go forward, Brahmara.
Yeah. Why is it hidden? Because it is the very Atma. It is not going to be seen. The presence of Paramatma alone makes the mind do what it does. Or the law of karma being non-separate from the Lord, the prarabdha karma makes people do what they have got to do and make them act according to their own disposition. Therefore, really speaking, you are not doing anything at all. It is all Ishvara. In a given situation, something is to be done, and therefore it is done. Why do you bother as though you are in charge of everything? You acknowledge that Bhagavan is in charge and do what is to be done. So
See,
do
that
I
is the meaning of, in the second chapter, Karmani evate adhikaraha, ma phaleshu kadachana. That is essential meaning of that. You are ordained to do certain things. Be convinced it is going to be beneficial to you. You keep doing that. You keep doing that. You may have obstructions. Don't you mind? Keep doing. There is a beautiful verse in Telugu, which is a translation of Bhartruhari Subhashitam. Bhartruhari Subhashitam. That if you people pardon my reciting the Telugu verse, I will translate that into English. What it says is, Prarambhimparu Nichamanavulu Vigna Ayasa Santraptulai. Prarambhinchi Parityajinturu Uruvignayaktulai Madhyamul. Dhirul Vigna Nihanyamanu Dhruchunnatotsahulai Prarabdardhamulujagim Parukada Pragnani Dhulgavunan. Dhirul means people who have that kind of resolution, that dhruti. Those people, Dhirul, that is there are three types of people given. Nichamanavulu, that is the lowliest of people, okay? Not, he is an Adhama Adhikari. The Madhyama Adhikari, Adhama Adhikari does not start any activity at all. Prarambhimparu Nichamanavulu Vigna Ayasa Santraptulai. Oh my God, it is going to be very tiresome. It is this, I can't give that much of time and effort, I can't devote, so I will not start. That is a Nichamanava, a person who is an Adhama Adhikari. Okay? The Madhyama Adhikari, what he does, Prarambhinche Parityajinturu Vignayastulai Madhyamul. The Madhyama Adhikari will start an activity in right earnest, but somehow he faces one obstacle, and that is the end of it. He will give it up. Dhirul, on the other hand, the Uttama Adhikari, Dhirul, Vigna Nihanyamanu Laguchun, Dhruchunnatotsahulai, Prarabdardhamalojagim Parukada, Pragnani Dhul Gavunan, because they have a wealth of prajna, they have a wealth of resolution, they have a wealth of wealth of Shraddha in Ishvara. And because of that, no matter whatever set of obstacles they might come across, they will take it with a smile and go forward. Keep on doing that activity that they have chosen. Dhirul Vigna Nihanyamanu Laguchan. Any obstacle will redouble their vigor to continue. Dhruchunnatotsaholai. With redoubled vigor and enthusiasm, they will continue their work. That is what is meant. That is required. A case in point is all our Zoom classes for the past nearly 9-10 months. We have been on this. We did have some hiccups here and there, but we continued. When we said we are continuing on that day, we have continued. And all of you, like clockwork, you have been present. And that is a great endeavor. It's not an easy thing. It is an individual endeavor. It is a collective endeavor, which is very laudable indeed. Dhirul Vigna Nihanyamanu Laguchan Dhruchunnatotsahulai Prarabdharthamalajagim Parugada Prajnanidhul Gavunan. We did have on occasion this kind of this projection gave little trouble to Brahmara. And once or twice we could not get on to the Zoom meeting at all. This meeting is closed by the host and things like that. So Brahmaraji happened to make another amendment to the Zoom passcode and things like that. And that is how we are. It requires a Shraddha. It requires a Dhruti. It requires a unflinching devotion to know what Kitaya is going to say. That all of you have evidence that in wonderful measure. That's very laudable indeed. Yeah, otherwise we would not have come here. Go forward.
At this point, I would also like to mention, Nana, inspired by your advice to chant the Gita, today the group has come to chapter 18.
Wow,
today is
very,
Gita.
very good.
So we completed chanting up to 17, and there have been, I think every one of them has faced some difficulty. Like Vijayji, for instance, he
Very
could
nice.
not chant till the night, but in the night, 12 o'clock or so, he chanted 16, 17, and then, so everybody has kind of kept up to the dhruti.
Very, very nice. Very fulfilling. For individuals, it is highly fulfilling. These are the memorable occasions in one's life. Good.
So we're going to chant
Go
18.
forward.
But here, when he talks of everything, you are not doing anything at all. It is all Ishvara. But what is to be done is to be done. That is where free will comes in, isn't it?
Yes, yes. See, you can abuse the free will also. What is required to be done, Ishvara is doing. Without Shiva's Ajna, even an ant will not bite you. Shivudagnya lenide chemaina kottadu. That is the saying in Telugu. Without the grace of the Lord Shiva, even an ant will not trouble you. You know that. That's okay. That is having the Shraddha. Supposing you use your free will nicely, it is okay. If you abuse the free will, if I am required to do this activity, okay, I will do. It is Ishwarajna. Okay, I will not do. If it is Ishwara who is going to propel me into action, he will do it. I will not start now. This is no way. This is no way. You are the vehicle using which Ishwarajna is going to be translated. If the vehicle says, I shall not move, that is silly.
Right. Got it.
It's like in a machine. In a machine, every small part Every cog has its own purpose. If a small part thinks, no, I need not work at all, and the small part is supposing it is a bolt. It is a bolt holding something very important from falling off. No, I will stop holding. Why should I unnecessarily? I am getting tensed. I am always under tension. And everybody uses a wrench and pushes me inside more and more and more till no longer I will yield. And this is very excruciatingly painful. I will release myself from holding these two parts. If the bolt thinks, what happens? The machine will fall apart. It may be doing some very small, insignificant job, but the insignificant job is significant for the bolt. Okay?
Right.
That is how Ishwarajna is.
Jai Gurudev Nanaji.
Jai Guru.
The free will also is Ishvara, isn't it?
Free will is yours. Free will
That is
yours.
Jiva? Is that Jiva?
You are endowed with the free will by Ishvara.
Hmm.
That endowment is from Ishvara, yes. Afterwards, you will have to use it yourself. That Ishwarajna is like, say, fire. Fire burns, that is the Ishwarajna. And you know, when you near the fire, a place of fire, it becomes hot and you feel the heat. And in spite of it, you go very near. Put your finger in fire, what happens? Is it Ishwarajna that the fire burns you? Or is it your free will? Ishvara has given you the free will not to abuse it, to use it properly. He has given you an equipment called the intellect, using which you are required to decide. Decide properly. Improperly, if you decide, it is Ishwarajna. Let me go put my finger in fire. If it is Ishwarajna, it will burn my finger. Otherwise, it will not. This is not Vedanta. This is taking law into your own hands, whereas you are not the lawmaker. Neither can you give the result of the law. Both the lawmaker and the one who gives the result of the law is Ishvara. But you are a cog. I am a cog. We are each equivalent to a bolt and a screw. We would better do what is ordained for us to do without any murmur. Very gratefully, very gracefully do it.
To find that work, that is Swabhava, no? To find
That is
Swabhava.
Swabhava. Yeah. The Swabhava can be kind of nurtured to be better than what it is. That is where the Purushartha comes in. That is what Brahmaraji asked. But when you use the Purushartha and try to improve your Swabhava, it will improve, but it will take a little time. It does not improve immediately. Imagine you are a smoker all your life, and you are convinced that smoking is not good for your health, bad for your lungs, bad for your health, and it will increase your BP, and it will shorten your lifespan, all these things, and you will not have the rich fullness of life, and you are not able to breathe properly. All these things you are convinced. Now, this is all Purushartha with which you are convinced. But giving up smoking, is it so very immediately effective? You decided to give up smoking, yes. But it requires a constant endeavor. That is where the nishtha is required. And that nishtha has to be driven by resolve. And the resolve will have to be in opposition to your swabhava. All these are very, very involved. But it is possible for you to be successful. It will take time. That must be acknowledged. Okay, sir?
That is why
Thank you.
Abhyasa is so important. Abhyasa and Vairagya. Yeah.
Abhyasena ta kaunteya vairagyena cha gruhyate in the 6th chapter. Yeah.
So
Go
do I
forward.
chant 62?
Yeah.
तमेव शरणं गच्छ सर्वभावेन भारत तत्प्रसादात् परां शान्तिं स्थानं प्राप्स्यसि शाश्वतम्. Surrender to him alone with your whole heart, Arjuna. By his grace, you will gain absolute peace, the eternal abode. Accept Ishvara with your whole heart as the one in charge. You are in charge of your life to an extent, but if you think you are totally in charge, you are mistaken. Everything is given to you, even the ego that thinks it is in charge. If the ego is the I sense in the body, mind, sense complex, that I is given to you along with the body, mind, and senses. And if you find that you have no control over your behavior, it is because that itself is I. Naturally, you will go by whatever happens in the mind. If you feel like giving up, then you will give up. If you feel like doing something, you will do it. There is no discrimination, viveka, available for you unless you can step aside and see that you have jurisdiction only over actions, never over the results. Karmani eva adhikaraha te ma phaleshu kadachana. Then again, everything is given to you by Ishvara, who is the indweller, in keeping with your own prarabdha karma. According to that prarabdha karma, things happen. How are you going to deal with that? It is better to give to Ishvara exactly what belongs to him. You do what you have to do, and he does his job. At the very level of yourself as an individual, related to Ishvara, the Lord, you do not dictate all the terms. So why do you take charge of things for which you have no responsibility? The acknowledgement of our limitations is such an important thing. We have no power over so many things. This war, for example, that Arjuna is facing would certainly have been avoided by him if it were within his power. Certain situations simply have to be faced, and faced with intelligence. Not facing an inevitable situation is unintelligent. Then after facing it, you can deal with it foolishly or intelligently. What Gita is talking about is facing a situation intelligently. Arjuna does not want to face this situation because he is overpowered by sympathy. Therefore, Krishna is asking Arjuna to surrender to him. Tasmat tameva sharanam gaccha. When you surrender your disposition to Ishvara, who is identified as prarabdha karma, then you accept that what is to happen will happen. Bhavitavyam bhavati eva. This is a very beautiful thing and not easy to assimilate completely. What is to happen will happen, and I do what is to be done. For that, Ishvara has to be recognized as the one who is in the form of the law of karma itself. This creation is a huge ritual, yajna, in process, in which you are a wheel or a cog. Your place is very important. Otherwise, you would not be here. The very fact that you are in this contemporary society or in a particular situation, however insignificant you may think it is significant. You are significant. In a large piece of machinery, the bolt may think its job of sitting tight is unimportant, since it seems to be doing nothing at all. But sitting tight is very important, for if it does not, the whole machine will come to a halt. Therefore, you are where you are because you have to be there. Whatever role you are called upon to play is important. That is why you are there. Therefore, Arjuna is told to surrender to Ishvara. Shankara says, to remove the pain of samsara, surrender to Ishvara. This takes the pressure off yourself. If you take the help of Ishvara, you do not blame yourself, and then you allow yourself to let go of the past and get into the flow of situations as they unfold themselves day after day. Today, the situation is in a particular form. Tomorrow, it will be in another form. And the next day, it is going to be something different. That is what makes life interesting. After all, if tomorrow is going to be exactly like today, why should we have tomorrow? But every day is a bundle of surprises. There is always something new happening. Keep us interested. If I let go of my past and do not think that I am in charge of everything, but that Ishvara in the form of my prarabdha karma is in charge, I get into the flow of events and do what I can do. The relief in this is not ordinary. Emotionally, we have to do this, not purely rationally. With our heart, intimately, at the emotional level, we have to let go because our problems are only emotional. The cognitive change that takes place by an understanding of Ishvara helps one even to emotionally accept Ishvara. That emotional acceptance also is indicated here by the word svabhavena, meaning with your whole heart. The Lord says, may you accept Ishvara as the one who is in charge with your whole heart. This is a beautiful imagery in the Gita Dhyana Sloka, in which Lord Krishna is considered to be the boatman, Kaivartaka, who takes one across. It says, the blood-soaked river was crossed by the Pandavas. Krishna was the boatman. Sotirna khalu Pandavai rananadhi Kaivartakaha Keshavaha. Rananadi is the river of samsara, of conflicts, of sorrow. This river cannot be crossed easily. It is full of big rocks and whirlpools and raging rapids. How are you going to cross it? Even a boat is useless unless you have an expert boatman. No ordinary boatman can help you cross this river. He himself will be drowned in the process. He should be one who knows exactly what he is doing and where he is going, the depth of the river at every point, how to avoid the whirlpools, and where all the unseen rocks are. Only Bhagavan can be your boatman. You hand over everything to him, and you will definitely reach the shore. Arjuna did this when he asked Krishna to be his chariot driver. In the same way, one has to hand over one's life to Bhagavan. The big yajna is going on, and within that, we are doing our own little part, surrendering to the order that is Ishvara. This order includes the moral laws and the law of karma. In fact, the law of karma and dharma are the same, because dharma produces punya and papa, which form the very order. Arjuna is born here, facing the situation all according to punya and papa. The law of karma centered on your free will, and dharma, adharma are all highly interconnected. Therefore, to that one Lord who is in the form of the very order of dharma, the order of karma, you surrender and do what is to be done. We conform to dharma because dharma is Bhagavan. Then what happens? Because of the grace of that Ishvara, tat prasadat, you have antakarana shuddhi, and therefore will gain first a relative composure, shantim prapsyasi. Once you have that relative shanti, you will in time gain absolute shanti. Param shantim shashvatam sthanam prapsyasi. This is a shanti, a peace, which is not a condition of the mind, but the nature of yourself. It is different from the simple shanti born of your attitude of surrender, because it is not dependent upon anything, but is the very nature of yourself. It is shashvatam sthanam, an abode that is eternal, from which there is no coming back. This is moksha. This is Ishvara who resides in the intellect of all. Sarva bhutanam hriddeshe tishtati. You think you are there, but you are not there at all. Your ahankara is only a status. All that is there is Paramatma. There is no separate ahankara at all, only Ishvara. You please try to understand that Ishvara, please seek Sharanam Gacha. Then you will gain relative Shanti and then Moksha, the Para Shanti. In the next verse, Bhagavan partially sums up the teaching. Iti te jnanamakyatam guhyad guhyataram maya vimrishyai tadadsheshena yathe chasi tatha kuru.
Brahmara, you go to 65.
Okay. Manmana bhava madbhaktaha madhyaji mam namaskuru mame vaishyati satyam te pratijane priyosi me. Become one whose mind is offered to me, one whose devotion is to me, one whose worship is to me. Do salutations to me. You will reach me alone. I truly promise, because you are dear to me. Summarizing Karma Yoga. If he becomes all this, Arjuna will reach Krishna. Manmanaha, means the one who has Parameshwara as the object of his mind. The mind itself is offered to Ishvara. Naturally, he is Madbhaktaha. His devotion, his commitment is to Ishvara alone. Whatever he does is for the sake of Ishvara. All his rituals, yagas, all karmas are only for Ishvara. Madhyaji. Ishvara alone is his refuge, the locus of his surrender. And thus Krishna says, may you salute me, Mam Namaskuru. And Shankara adds, may you salute only me. When this is so, you will reach me alone. Mam eva eshyasi. He gives him a promise. I truly promise you. Satyam te pratijane. Here the end, sadhya, is Ishvara. And the means, sadhana, and what is offered are all for Ishvara alone. Any action that is performed by the mind, speech, or limbs is done as worship to Ishvara for the sake of gaining that very Ishvara. Generally, these instruments of action are pressed into service to perform acts of worship, keeping in view a certain result like heaven. Here, the result is only Parameshwara. You do not want anything less than Parameshwara. Then again, all the instruments of action, karanas, are not separate from Parameshwara, and the very actions, kriyas, which you do are for the sake of Parameshwara. Whatever duties you are enjoined to do are all for the sake of Ishvara. We have seen this before. Worshipping him, Ishvara, with one's own duty, a person gains success. Swakarmana tamabhyarcha siddhim vindati manava. When you do something just because the situation demands it, that is duty. When you analyze this properly, it is clear that what is to be done in a given situation and what we call dharma are one and the same. What is not to be done and adharma will also be one and the same. Conformity to dharma is exactly what worshipping means here. The commitment has to be in keeping with dharma, because dharma is non-separate from Ishvara, who is both the efficient and material cause. Abhinna nimitta upadana karana. That is pointed out by saying that Tam, the one who is to be worshipped, is the one from whom all beings emerge and by whom they are sustained. Yatah pravrittir bhutanam yena sarvamidam tatam. Though the jiva is not created, but is Paramatma, still, due to ignorance, all the subtle and gross upadhis and all the subtle and gross aspects of the 5 elements arise from that same Parameshwara. Therefore, it is not merely the maker, the intelligent cause, nimitta karana, but because it pervades everything, it is necessarily the material cause, upadana karana also. Therefore, all that is created is non-separate from Ishvara. If that is so, all the natural laws and laws of dharma, which are not created by any individual, are also non-separate from Ishvara. What is commonly sensed by all of us is dharma, which is non-separate from Ishvara. Conformity to that is what is told here as karma yoga. Karma is meant for varieties of things. Karma yoga is meant only for one thing, antakarana shuddhi, for the sake of jnana. The karma yogi has no confusion about what he wants, purushartha. He knows that nothing but the discovery of his identity with Ishvara will solve his problem. No jiva can accept anything less because nothing else is going to work. Whatever he does, he will continue to be a seeker. That will only be resolved with a sense of isolation, when his sense of isolation is given up, and that is only possible by discovering that he is everything. Until then, no jiva will rest content. Therefore, Ishvara is his end. Thus Krishna says, you will come to me alone, mam eva eshyati. The obtaining non-separation, obtaining oneness, is not a created oneness. It has to be discovered. Any created oneness will end in separation. Because if two things are brought together, they will separate, either by death or some other calamity. Some form of entropy will cause the separation to take place. But here, the oneness is already accomplished. Atma is Brahman. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. It is the only source of consciousness, not the knower, known, or instrument of knowledge, but the consciousness that is common in all three, that obtains as the basis of the invariable in all three. The recognition of that oneness that already exists is what is called moksha, or gaining Ishvara. Here, Lord Krishna gives Arjuna a promise that he will reach him. Satyam te pratijane. He need not say this at all, but he tells this to Arjuna in order to create Shraddha in him. He can make such a promise because there is no way you can miss him. He is you. Why does he say this when he need not? He himself gives the reason. Because you are beloved to me. Priyaha asime. You follow what Bhagavan says here and you will reach him. All you have to do is to prepare your mind and pursue knowledge as you are doing now. The result, moksha, is inevitable, and there is no question of missing antakarana shuddhi, because devotion to Ishvara will take care of raga and dveshas. They get neutralized because you are doing what is to be done, not purely what you like, and you're doing it with devotion. Therefore, antakarana shuddhi will take place and moksha is not going to be far away. Therefore, pursuit of knowledge is also part of a life of karma yoga. The clarity of knowledge increases as the antakarana becomes freed from the hold of raga and dveshas. This end is assured for one who has devotion to Ishvara. He is the end to be accomplished, and he is the one whose grace I seek to help me recognize my identity with him. The end to be accomplished is Ishvara, and the accomplishment is in the form of I am Ishvara, Ishvaroham. Thus, I become one for whom Ishvara is the end. Previously, it was said that whatever you do, yat karoshi, you should do it as an offering to me. Tat kurushva madarpanam. when all actions are offered to Ishvara, keeping him as the goal, and for the purpose of Antakarna Shuddhi, all our ragas, dveshas get neutralized and have no more hold over us. Lord Krishna has said that raga, dveshas are there in the mind of everyone and exhorts us not to come under their control. Raga, dveshau, sarvesham, buddhau, vyavastitau, tayo, vasham na agachet. Having raga, dvesha does not mean that you have a problem. But if they have you, you have nothing but problems. Gaining mastery over our raga, dveshas is accomplished by karma yoga, which is not one action, but a committed lifestyle of doing what is to be done with a proper attitude. Because of this, one gains antakarna shuddhi and is therefore prepared to gain knowledge, jnana. Besides this karma yoga, the Gita also talks about renunciation of action, sarva karma sannyasa, through knowledge, which is moksha, and also the lifestyle of sannyasa. In the next verse, Lord Krishna is going to talk about renunciation of action through knowledge, jnana karma sannyasa. Shankara's introduction to the next verse. Introducing this verse, Shankara says that the greatest secret of commitment to karma yoga is surrender to Ishvara. Ishvara is the sole refuge to whom the individual jiva surrenders all his karmas. In this, dharma, the moral order, is looked upon as Ishvara. Only then can we call it karma yoga. If that vision is not there, one can be an ethical person, but not a karma yogi. For karma yoga implies accepting Ishvara as the very order of dharma. Once that appreciation is complete, what is the result? Karma yoga itself is not the end, but through that, you pave the way for the clear vision of what is what. Samyak darshana, namely, you are Brahman. This is what we call jnana karma sannyasa. It was said, the one who sees no action in action and action in inaction, he among men is wise. Karmani akarmayah pashyet, akarmani cha karmayaha, sabuddhiman manushyeshu. And mentally renouncing all actions, the indweller of the body is seated happily in this 9-gated city, neither doing nor causing anything to be done. Sarva karmani manasa sanyasyaste sukham vashi navadvare pure dehi naiva kurvan na karayan. Throughout the Gita, Krishna has talked about jnana karma sannyasa, renunciation of all karmas by knowledge. What is that knowledge? I, Atma, am not the agent, Karta. By knowing that, all karmas are completely negated. The one whose mind is in that Brahman, whose self is that, whose commitment is that, whose impurities are destroyed by knowledge, do not return again. Tad buddhayaha, tad atmanaha, tannishta, tat parayanaha gacchanti. Apunaravrittim jnana nirdhuta kalmashaha. Seeing, hearing, touching, smelling, eating, walking, sleeping, breathing, talking, releasing, grasping, opening and closing the eyelids, contemplating that the sense organs move about among the sense objects. The one who knows the truth, who has self-mastery, thinks, I do not do anything at all. Naiva kinchit karomiti yukto manyeta tattvavit. Pashyan, shrinvan, sprishan, jigran, ashnan, gachan, swapan, swashan, pralapan, visrijan, grinnan, unmishan, nimishan napi, indriyani, indriyarteshu, vartante iti dharaya. All these verses should be remembered as we look into this 18th chapter, because the essential part of all that has been said is going to be presented here. Finally, renunciation of action through knowledge, jnana karma sannyasa, and the sannyasa as a lifestyle are pointed out here. This verse deals with both sannyasa as a yoga or a means in terms of a lifestyle called vividisha sannyasa, which is the result of a life of karma yoga, and also the result of that sannyasa, which is jnana karma sannyasa, renunciation of all action by knowledge, knowing that I am not an agent. Both are covered in this verse. Therefore, it is a complete summing up of the topic of sannyasa. The previous verse sums up karma yoga, and here it is pure knowledge. Nana, before we go to verse 66.
Excuse me, I want your doubt.
Yes.
Renunciation of all action by knowledge, knowing that I am not an agent. We were thinking that we are the instrument, no, earlier. That is agent.
That is recognizing that I is not the karta at all. I, Atma, is an
Not
akarta
really.
essentially.
Ah.
That recognition is jnana karma sannyasa. When that is recognized, whatever you do, you don't really do. Naiva kinchit karomi ti. I do not do anything. Same thing was presented by Bhagavan when he said in the 4th chapter, Chaturvanyam maya srushtam guna karma vibhagashaha tasya kartaram api mam vidhi akartaram avyayam. Even though I have done, understand that I have not done. Understand that I have not done is what? You should not equate Bhagavan Krishna as a doer. He is not a doer at all. That is one meaning. Secondly, if as long as you are swimming in the Midhyarupa Jagat, then you will have to understand this Chaturvanyam is Maya Srushtam. When you pick up the knowledge that you are not a doer and you become a Jivan Mukta, then the Jagat itself is negated. When that is the case, where is the Chaturvanyam? From that point of view, with the Akattaram Avyayam. Both meanings are there. From the Kartrutva Bhavana of Bhagavan, he is not a Karta. And from the Midhyarupa Jagat, also there is no requirement of Chaturvanyam. Okay, sir?
Okay. It's little more in the next step.
Yeah. Yes,
So
Brahma.
this means that the karma yogi still is not, that is the distinction between a karma yogi and a sannyasi, where
Not a
Karma
Karma
yogi?
Yogi and a sannyasi. Karma Yogi and a Sarva Karma sannyasi through knowledge.
Correct.
That's
Correct.
the difference.
Correct. Yeah,
A
that's what I
sannyasi-
was
A
being
sannyasi also is a Karma Yogi.
karma yogi. Correct.
Sannyasi also has to undertake Karma Yoga. Only thing is, like the normal Karma Yogi, like you and I, Grihastas, we have ordained duties. This sannyasa has no ordained duties. His only ordained duties is jnana samupajjana and karma yoga bhavanena, whatever little actions he has to do, he will do with karma yoga bhavana and keep on acquiring knowledge. That is the only ordained karma for him. He is a vividisha sannyasi. He is a sannyasi who has got the jnatum ichu. He is desirous of knowing who indeed he is, and his entire pursuit is devoted towards that. He is not a vidvat sannyasi. He is not a sannyasi who has known himself, kind of. You see, that is a Jivan Mukta. That Jivan Mukta gives up all karma because of knowledge. Like you have read earlier, karmani akarmayah pasyet, akarmani cha karmayaha, Sa buddhiman manushyeshu sayuktaha krishna karma krita. He is the one who is the performer of all actions. He is the Krishna karma krita. Krishna means entire gamut of activities he has already completed. Even though not doing anything, he has completed. Even though doing everything, he has not done. Even though
Like that
doing
story,
everything, he has
Bhagwan
not.
and the sages there, no?
Correct.
The gopis and the rivers when they crossing the river.
Correct. That we have read. Yes.
Yeah.
Even though having eaten, plates full of meal, that yogi, that Maharshi said, you go tell Yamuna that if I have not eaten anything in my life, please give way, subside. And it did. And Kittappa, he had a lot of girlfriends, if you allow me to say so. And all those, they were laughing at him. Why do you have to have so many? Hey, Kittaya, why can't you do with just one and be satisfied? Then he says, you go feed that Maharshi. He's very anxious that he would have some meal through you. And they go there, and this is what Brahmaraji read in the PDF document. And when the Yamuna is in speed, they come back to Kitaya, and Kitaya says, you proclaim to Yamuna, if Kitaya has been a brahmachari throughout his life, then subside. Then they laugh at him, giggle and go away, and they indeed proclaim what was ordained to them. And Yamuna subsides. That is what the gopis could not understand. Yamuna did understand. That is not the point here. The point is, even though in intense activity, he is not the actor at all. His sense organs are acting. Indriyani indriyadeshu vartanta parantu aham na kinchit karomi iti tattvavitu manyeta. And Kettaya was the best of tattvavitus. Tattvavitu manyeta. Yeah.
Very good. Very
Previous,
good.
Yeah.
Jnana, we have
It
to
is.
with jnana.
Yeah,
Yes,
with
sir.
jnana. Very right.
Karma. Okay. Good.
It is a matter of understanding, sir, because our problem is ajnana, isn't it?
Yeah.
Ajnana kalusham jivam jnanabhyasat vinirmalam. In the Atma Bodha, ajnana kalusham jivam. He is sustained by ajnana, by the scars of ajnana. Ajnana kalusham jivam jnana abhyasat vinirmalam. He becomes purer and purer. The more and more jnana he acquires. That jnana is understanding his nature. Understanding his nature with the help of the Shastra Vakyas. With the help of the Guru Vakyas and Guru Susrusha also. Because that Susrusha will knock off the ego, the false essence. Both are required. That is how jnana abhyasat vinirmal. It's a matter of understanding. What I do not know, I am paying for it. I want to know, I want to stop paying for all these things. How many janmas I have already undergone, I do not know. And how many more are awaiting my participation in them. I am really tired. I want to call it a day. And that is possible only by understanding.
Our main obstruction is our buddhi only, intelligent.
Yeah.
That is what we have to just keep that intelligent out.
Yes. Yeah. Go
Earlier,
ahead.
Nana, earlier he had, Swamiji mentioned that you need to accept Ishvara emotionally and not just mentally.
Correct. That is bhakti. That is bhakti. See, otherwise, if you are merely understanding without your emotional involvement, that will be a theoretical knowledge. You will become a professor capable of teaching a host of students without any intrinsic improvement in you. You, the professor, are capable of teaching and maybe converting a lot of students, but you are not converted yet. That conversion is required by emotional involvement. That is born of knowledge, and that is indeed bhakti. That emotional involvement is required. Manmana bhava bhakta.
That is the last step before ego.
Correct. Correct. Otherwise, how will you sublimate the ego?
Yes, chitta.
How will you come to recognize that you are just a cog in the huge wheel of this samsara?
Yes.
You are only an instrument in the hands of Ishvara. If you recognize that, you have an emotional involvement. If you have understood only Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, but there is no emotional involvement at all, and you do not have the spontaneous love for the suffering millions, you don't have any empathy, and your heart does not bleed for the one who is sorrowing, where is the emotional involvement? Forget about Ishvara. Ishvara is in everybody, and in the suffering person. You can't see yourself. You can't love that person. You can't go to help him. Where is the emotional involvement? Art of loving is required, not simple mere living. Art of loving. Sarvabhutastam atmanam, sarvabhutani cha atmani, ikshate yoga yuktatma, sarvatra samadarshinaha. Samam pashyan hi sarvatra, samavasthitam ishwaram. All these things were said for our emotional involvement, for our turning a new leaf in our life by proper understanding and emotionally trying to be one with Ishvara. Otherwise, these things will become mere sentences which I have gotten by heart. That's all. It does no greater purpose than that. Like I said, you become a professor. That's all. Fit enough to change a number of people without any change in you.
When you involve emotional with
Correct.
the
Correct.
way of knowing that you are doing it,
Correct.
then you become, I am not an agent. Oh,
Yeah,
good.
correct.
Very good. So,
Yeah.
So
Hey, make a
basically,
beginning for this
take all-
66th verse.
yeah, it is basically living all human values, basically. Emotionally connected and accepting Ishvara is you're expressing all the human values. And
See, another thing is, Ishvara you don't see. But the essence of Ishvara you can see if you feel like in every person. The essence of Ishvara is in every person. Kshetrajnam chapi mam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata. In all the kshetras, understand me as a kshetrajna. When Kitaya has said that, where is the difference? Where is no emotional involvement at all? If it is lacking, that means what? You have only gotten that kshetrajnam chapi mam vidhi by heart. And my God, it has not gone into your system at all. It does not serve any purpose. It will only add to your book of egotism. That keeps on increasing, that's all. I know this, oh, that, I know. You say any sloka, I will tell you in what chapter it is. What avail is that? Are you a piece of computer, a hardware, or an emotional being? That must be recognized. Our real truth must be recognized and acknowledged, and our actions must be in tune with that kind of an acknowledgement. Okay, make a beginning to 66th verse, man.
yeah, I think someone else has something to say. We'll make a beginning.
No,
Maybe
I
someone
was
else
thinking,
can chip in reading.
No, Vijayji, you wanted to say
No,
something?
no, I was thinking when Nanaji was saying this, it's like moving from our small eye to the big eye, right? The small eye is that ahankara and all, which is giving that eye sense. From there, moving to that bigger eye, which is ultimately what we want to realize.
True,
Yeah.
sir. True. Very right.
There is renunciation of all action by knowledge, knowing that I am not a
Yep.
wow. Yes.
Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tva sarva papebhyo moksha ishyami ma shuchaha. Giving up all karmas, take refuge in me alone. I will release you from all karma. Do not grieve. This is considered to be the last verse of teaching in the Gita. The teaching of the Gita begins with the statement, you are grieving over what does not deserve to be grieved for. Ashocyan anvashochastvam. And it ends here with, do not grieve, ma shuchaha. Therefore, it is clear that the whole purpose of the Gita is to remove sorrow. Here it is said, sarva dharman parityajya, giving up all dharmas, mam ekam sharanam vraja, take refuge in me alone. We have to see what dharma is here. Lastly, Krishna says, I will free you from all papa. Therefore, do not grieve. Aham tva sarva papebhyo moksha ishyami ma shuchaha. What is meant by giving up all dharmas? Giving up all dharmas is giving up all actions through knowledge. When we closely analyze the whole Vakya, we can see that Jnana Nishta. We can see that Jnana Nishta is what is mentioned here. Shankara says that when it is said that all dharmas should be given up, sarva dharman parityajya, the word dharma here includes both dharma and adharma. Because the intended meaning of both the Shruti and Smriti is freedom from action, Naishkarmya. This means the complete giving up, parityaga of all karmas. As long as one is subject to karma, one is in samsara, and therefore one has to become free from all karmas in order to be free from samsara. If Gita is a moksha shastra, it has to provide a means to get rid of all karmas. We know that it is impossible to get rid of all karmas by exhausting them because they are countless. Nor is it ever possible to give up action even for a second. Nahi kaschit kshanamapi jatu tishtatya akarmakrit. There is only one way. Actions are given up by sheer knowledge. Jnana karma sannyasa. Atma is not an agent, karta, nor is it an object, karma, of any action, nor connected in any way to any kind of action. That is the nature of the Atma, and therefore it is by nature free from all karma. Actionlessness then is equated to moksha. Giving up dharma includes giving up adharma also. By explaining that adharma is to be included in the word sarva dharma, Shankara has made it clear that giving up dharma does not mean failing to give up adharma. This is supported by the Kathopanishad, which says that the gain of Atma Jnana is not possible for the one who has not withdrawn from improper activities. That adharma is included when we say sarva dharma, is expressed not only in the Shruti. In the Mahabharata too, it is said that one has to give up dharma and adharma, and that one should give up both truth and falsehood, finally giving up that by which one gives up. The notion by which one thinks that one has given up, that also should be given up by knowledge. That means the notion of agency, kartritva, should be given up. Katopanishad verse. Tyaja dharmama dharmancha ubhe satyanrite tyaja ubhe satyanrite tyaktva yena tyajasi tat tyaja. Wow, this is so beautiful.
This is from Mahabharata. The
This is
Kathopanishad Vakya, he has only indicated the chapter 1, second Valli, 24th verse, that kind of a thing.
Oh, this is the Mahabharata Bhishma Shanti
From the
Parva.
Shanti Parva. It is Bhishma Yudhishthira Samvada, Shanti Parva.
This is beautiful, actually.
Hmm.
Giving up all actions can denote Vividisha Sannyasa also. The practice of dharma and adharma is only in terms of action, karma. Here we are asked to give up both actions, which are looked upon as right, dharma, and those which are looked upon as wrong, adharma. That amounts to all actions. How can anybody give up all actions? There is only one way, which Lord Krishna tells here, Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja. This is true even if Sarva Dharma is taken as all the actions that we generally do to fulfill desires, Kamya Karmas. This would include those actions enjoined by the Shruti, Vaidika Karmas or Shrauta Karmas, and those enjoined by the Smriti, Smarta Karmas. All of them are given up when one takes to a life of sannyasa for the pursuit of knowledge of Ishvara, Vividisha Sannyasa. Thus, Ishvara is the only refuge. Bela, you can continue, Bela, if you're able to read.
Yeah, Brahmaraji. I hope my background noise is not
Brahmara,
disturbing.
Yes,
Brahmara,
Nana? Yes.
it is 8:22.
Okay.
I think every day we will draw a line regarding time.
Okay.
Maybe between 8:30 and 8:40, we will call it a day for that day.
Okay.
Not beyond, because it is but proper that you people should have a little time for your manana session.
Okay.
Okay, I should not be spoiling your manana session totally.
Okay.
Make it 8:30, but today
Okay.
let it go to 8:40.
Okay.
Because Balaji is taking over from you.
Okay.
Let her have the satisfaction for having read for some time at least.
Okay.
Okay.
Fine. Yes, Bela, you can start, Bela. We'll see if there is whether there is any background noise. You can start.
Yeah, please tell me.
Yeah.
Hari Om. Only moksharthi can give up actions. When dharma, artha and kama are not the ends, naturally the karmas to attend them have no purpose and are given up. If they are the ends, karma can never be given up because dharma, artha and kama can be gained only by karma. That is why the whole Veda, except for the Upanishad portion, is occupied with karma. It is the only means by which these ends, dharma, artha and kama, can be accomplished. This is also why the last portion of the Veda containing the Upanishads is considered a separate section. Unlike the first section, it is meant for moksha because in it, karma is not the topic, gnana is the topic. Giving up dharma is not giving up the code of dharma, adharma, but actions based on them. From the standpoint of those who are committed to karma, the Purva Mimansakas, the entire Shastra is analyzed in order to understand what karma is to be done to gain the various desired results mentioned in the Veda. The first sutra in their book of analysis is hereafter, after the study of the Veda, therefore is an inquiry into dharma, artha, dharma jignasa. The word dharma in the sutra includes adharma also, and ultimately it means karma because first the whole topic is karma and secondly dharma is meant only for karma. By tradition, then the word dharma means karma. Since all dharma, sarva dharma, has to be understood to include adharma, when it is said that all dharma is to be given up, it means that all karma is to be given up. Therefore, there is no giving up of dharma and adharma, what is right and wrong. We can perhaps give up the notion of right and wrong, but still, empirically, there is such a thing as right and there is such a thing as wrong. This is not something that is within our power to give up. What we can give up is action, karma, that is based on dharma or adharma. The first sutra was from Jaimini Sutra. What does me alone mean here? Using the first person, Lord Krishna says here, take refuge in me alone. Why has he said me alone? It can be a jealous statement. Do not go to any other god. Come only to me. All other gods like Indra, Varuna, Agni, etc. cannot give you moksha. You have to come only to me for that. This is how some devotees like those of the Hare Krishna sect present this verse. Only Krishna is the real God. You have to surrender only to him. Here we have to see how to take this ekam only in the proper manner, in keeping with the whole teaching. Two things are mentioned here by Shankara. One is that when Bhagavan says me, we are to understand that as the one who is of the nature of all. There are different things in this world, all of which can be brought under two heads. Chetana, that which is sentient, and achetana. Chetan and achetan, that which is insentient. The sentient includes all creatures from Brahmaji down to worm Abrahmastamba Paryantam. That is one group. Then there is the group made up of inert material, Jadatmaka, the insentient things. Krishna is saying, in effect, I am the very nature, Swarupa, of all of them. Why? Because of being the cause of all things that are here. Sarvasya Kartanat Karanatvat. Am I
Sarvas karanatvat.
Karanatvat. Sarvasya Karanatvat.
No, karanatvat.
Karanatvat.
Correct. Sarvasya karanatvat. Because I am the cause of everything that is manifest. He is the abhinna nimitta upadana karana. He is not only the efficient cause, he is not only the potter, he is also the murtika. He is also the clay. Abhinna nimitta upadana karana. Nimitta is the potter. Upadana karana is the entire manifested jagat. He is a sarvasya karanatvat because of his being the very cause for everything that is manifest. Yeah.
The so-called sentient and insentient, Chetana and Achetana, are both nothing but the five elements, Panchabhutas. All that is here is either the subtle aspect of the elements, Sukshma Bhutas, or the gross aspect, Sthula Bhutas. If we analyze this in terms of consciousness, from a provisional standpoint, we can say that all of these elements are really inert because everything other than the Chaitanya Atma is inert. When we divide things into sentient and insentient, what we call insentient is really that which which has no subtle body, Sukshma Sharira, while the sentient is that which has a subtle body. But the concept of inert and conscious is only from a point of view. In fact, everything is one consciousness, Brahman. Try to think of an object minus consciousness. You cannot. Even if you say that it is inert, the fact that you are seeing it, lighting it up, means that it is not away from Atma, consciousness. It is just that only the existence aspect, Satta of Atma, is manifest there, while in a conscious or sentient object, there is the presence of a subtle body, Sukshma Sharira, and therefore a manifestation of consciousness which expresses itself as a knower, etc. Consciousness, Chaitanya, is present everywhere. There is no question of there being anything that is away from Chaitanya Atma, which is Brahman. And therefore, Shankara calls the Lord Sarvatma, the Atma, the nature of all, because he is the maker as well as the material cause of everything. This is looking at the whole thing from the standpoint of cause and effect. The effect is non-separate from the cause. When one says, I am the self of all, Aham Sarvatma, where does this I, Aham, come from? Shankara says that Aham is the one who obtains in all things. Sarva Bhutastha. Sarva Bhutastha. Why does he say this? Is not Sarvatma good enough? No, it is possible to construe from Sarvatma that Atma has modified into the world. Therefore, we have to say that it has not modified. It transcends everything and is also immanent. If we only say that it obtains in all things, Sarva Bhutastha, you may think that if Atma is inside you, it is not outside, and everything else is separate from you. Therefore, we have to say both the statements. Aham Sarva Bhutastha Atma, I am the very being of all living beings, and Aham Sarvatma, I am in the form of all beings. Even though the Lord, that is consciousness, is present in everything, it is only the conscious being who is in the buddhi that can be known as the same consciousness, Atma. The whole creation is standing in the same Chaitanya Atma, which means that Ishvara obtains in everything, not fractionally, but in full measure. Suppose there is one big lump of something that is distributed to everybody, then everyone will have a bit of it. If it is consciousness, everyone will have one spark of some column of consciousness. Does everybody have a spark of consciousness within, like the spark of emanating from fire? No, we cannot make a spark out of consciousness. It is Satya, the only thing here. No, we cannot make a spark out of consciousness. It is Satya, the only thing here. In your buddhi, there is a complete Purna Satchidananda Atma. The same Satchidananda Atma alone is Ishvara. And therefore, the Lord who is everything, Sarvatma, is the one who obtains in all beings, Sarva Bhutastha. That means Atma is Sarva Bhutastha, one that is present in every being. We understand that Atma is Bhutastha. That is, it is immanent inside every being like a thread that passes through every bead in a necklace. Shall I continue, Brahmaraji?
Yeah, another 5 minutes we'll do.
Okay.
5 more minutes, please.
Okay, Dhanyavad Nanaji. This has also been shown in the 13th chapter, where again using the first person, Krishna says, know me as the knower of the kshetra in all kshetras. Kshetragnam chapi mam viddhi sarva kshetresu bharata. The kshetra is the body, mind, senses, and the entire world. And the one who knows the kshetra is the kshetragna Atma. Therefore, when Krishna says, understand me as the kshetragna, he is also saying, understand yourself to be kshetragna, and that kshetragna is myself. Thus, this is Mahavakya. Further, know me as the essential nature, Swarupa of all Sarvatma, and obtaining in all Sarva Bhutastha as Sama, the same, that which does not undergo any change. Being whole, it is complete. It is always the same, and it is also equal. In everybody's heart, there is one Atma, and that Atma is whole, Purna. It is not complete in one person and incomplete in another. It is the same fullness in all beings, and it does not undergo any change. Therefore, Ishvara, the Lord, is also that which is not subject to destruction. Achyuta, free from getting into a womb, and therefore not born or subject to death. Who is that? That Ishvara is myself alone, says Krishna. Taking refuge in Ishvara is knowing that there is nothing other than Ishvara. What does it mean to take refuge in that Ishvara alone? It means to understand, to know that there is nothing other than me, Atma, which is not different in nature from Ishvara. There is no separation between Atma and Ishvara. Other than Ishvara, there is nothing. And that Ishvara is non-separate from the Atma. We do not say that there is one God. We say all that is there is God. I am not other than Ishvara, and Ishvara is not other than me. In other words, Tat Tvam Asi. You are that. The predication here is only for you, Tvam, the one who is self-evident. There is confusion only with reference to you alone. Tat has no problem. And if it did, you would not know it. Your problem is solved when you understand who you are, what you are. That is, when you understand that you are that Brahman, which is Ishvara. This is the meaning, to take refuge in the Lord, who is of the essential nature, Swarupa of everything, Sarvatma, the one who is obtaining in all, Sarva Bhutastha, the same, Sama, not subject to destruction, Achyuta, and free from birth and death, etc., is to understand that there is nothing other than that Lord. This means that you are not separate from the Lord.
Hari Om. Balaji, if you don't mind, I think we'll call it a day here. It will be very easy to understand that we need to start from here tomorrow. This surrender is a beautiful word. We will know. And this page 378. This 378 is, I'm very fond of this number. Okay, it's easy for me to understand this. We will start from here tomorrow. You can start tomorrow from here, Balaji. Right?
Page
Yes,
378
Nana.
incidentally is my father's employee number in Bharat Electronics Limited, where he worked from the beginning till his retirement. 378 is his employee number.
Oh, that goes.
Okay. Okay.
3
You-
plus 8 is 18, and we are in
Hmm.
18 chapter.
Hmm.
So good. Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Nice.
Brahmara, I thought I can keep some secrets with you. You are divulging my secrets.
The
Okay.
secret is also him, so there is
Yeah.
no secret.
Good. Okay. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayah Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om, everybody. Remember, you have to start from surrender, Balaji.
Yeah.
Yes,
378.
Nana. Dhanyavad, Nana.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Thank you.